When you want them then.
Was alright for a while. I could smile for a while. Then I saw you last night. You held my hand so tight when you stopped to say hello. You wished me well. You didn't tell. I've been crying over you, crying over you. Said so long, left me standing all alone and crying, 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 crying. It's hard to understand that the touch of your hand can start me crying. I thought that I was over you, but it's true, so true. I love you even more than I did before. Darling, what can I do? No, you don't love me, and I'll always be crying over you, and now you're gone, and from this moment on I'll be crying.
Friends, good afternoon. We've gathered together today to mourn the passing and to remember and to celebrate the life of John Neef, or John Neef. And today we come as his friends, as his family, as his community, to remember and celebrate who he's been amongst us. Before I go any further, please let me briefly introduce myself. I'm the Reverend Graham Hanson. I'm a minister of the Uniting Church of Wayside Chapel in our Bondi Beach operations, and I welcome you here to this space this afternoon. The other thing I always say at this point in time is if you have left the mobile phone on, you might want to switch it off or put it on silent, just to avoid possible embarrassment. And my word of advice is don't think it can't happen to you. The other thing I would say at this point in time as well is that today's service is being videotaped, as you can see in the middle. So just if if you want to be aware of your behaviour, or if you want your chance on the spotlight, then it's going, and we can leave some room for you at some point, I'm sure. I'm going to read to you a poem from Henry Scott Holt. Death is nothing at all. Death is nothing at all. I have only slipped away into the next room. I am I, and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, we are still. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way which you have always used. Put no difference in your tone. Wear no forced air of solemnity or sorrow. Laugh as we always laughed at the little jokes we enjoyed together. Pray. Smile. Think of me. Pray for me. Let my name be forever the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effect, without the trace of shadow on it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same as it ever was. There is absolutely unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I am but waiting for you, for an interval somewhere very near, just around the corner. All is well. We're going to spend some time reflecting on John's life, on who he's been amongst us, and we're going to do so with gratitude and to hear some stories. So I'm going to invite Peter and Moshi to come first and share. So, Peter?
Hi. My name is Peter. I am John's nephew. I suppose I'm the, fortunately, only male Neef left. Sorry about where to start. But yeah, so basically I've just been asked to, I suppose to start off with just kind of talk about John's earlier life, and his kind of family, and then I suppose I'll just kind of talk about my memories of John. John was born on the 29th of April 1941 in little southern Dutch town, Krippen aan de Lek. I pronounce that correctly. I don't know any Dutch. Which I'm told, apparently Krippen means kind of a lake crossing, because it's about 2 k's away from the Rhine. So John was named after his paternal grandfather. And so John's dad, Peter, who I'm named after, was born in Rotterdam, and then he moved when he was younger and moved to Krippen and grew up there. And that's where he also met John's mother, Gertrude, and she was born there. So they met at a local dance around the time Peter already had the bike shop set up. And then, one thing led to another. They got married in 1939. And then through there, obviously, if anyone knows a bit of history, there was a big war going on at the time. This kind of led to German occupation of Holland, and there was also some bombing around there as well. At the time, Peter was imprisoned for 2 years by the Germans for smuggling some potatoes, and he managed to escape. Somehow, amongst all this, they managed to produce 4 children. There was Alice, John, Gerda, and Hendrikus, who's my dad. I suppose, as a little kid, I was told John was a pretty popular lad around the town. He was well loved. And my favourite story of John's childhood is he kind of made friends and started running errands for this family. this is where I'm really going to struggle with their surname. Gladwikes. Thanks, James. But he helped them do some certain things around, do little jobs and things like that, and they kind of owned a few little businesses and things, a bottle shop, bandstand, and of course a mini zoo. And in my mind as a kid, I always thought, there was tigers and lions and whatever, pterodactyls, and which are probably a little bit less impressive. But all I know is that John ended up getting a pet monkey out of it, called Monkey. And you can see this monkey. There's a picture in John's house, and I'm pretty sure it's wearing a little vest, isn't it? Is it wearing a little vest, the monkey? Or I imagine that, doesn't matter. Obviously, apparently it was pretty wild though. It used to just run amok, and apparently it used to piss in people's teacups. Over the years, the Gladwikes, something like that. Anyway, John kind of grew quite close to them and almost became a second family for him. And I know during those kind of rough times around like post-war and things like that, John spent a lot of time with them, and I'm sure this is where he kind of, amongst all these things, kind of learnt to love nature and love of animals, and I'm imagining especially cats. Skipping forward a bit, in 1957, the Neef family then moved to Australia. They popped on a 6-week-long boat ride, eventually arrived over here. They came into, originally in Geelong, and they moved into their uncle's house, I believe, and it was a bit cramped. I heard there was about 2 families or so in there. So quickly tried to get out of there, I can imagine. And then they moved into the family home, which Peter built, was originally an old railway station waiting room, and managed to extend that into an actual home. So as kids, Alice and John were the kind of dominant ones. I heard John particularly was a bit bossy. Gert a little bit more easygoing, and Dad described as the creative one, whatever that means. So as John got older, because he was 16 when they first came over to Australia, around that 16, 17. So John soon moved out to a few country towns in Victoria, working on farms. And again, his kind of love for animals kind of came through there. Apparently, they used to find stray puppies and kittens on the farm and things like that, and the bosses would be like, get rid of them. John used to hide them away. I don't know, feed them, pat them, let them go. And then eventually in 1976 he moved up to Sydney and bought the house at 536 Elizabeth Street, which he's loved, and so many have all visited. I think Sydney is probably obviously where John was able to find himself and really feel comfortable with who he was. There he started working as a cleaning supervisor at the Sydney Building Information Centre. And John happily worked there up until he retired due to ill health at about the age of 52. Being told at that time that he only had 2 years to live. And that was about 24 years ago. So at that time I probably would have been about 4 years old. And I mean, in many ways, I'm pretty grateful that John was able to prematurely retire, because I think it meant I got to spend more time with him. And he's always been there for us. For me, I think he's basically just kind of the most loving and generous uncle that you could probably wish for. I know that myself, nor my sister, or many other people in this room would probably be where we are today if it wasn't for John and his support. I know even after it kind of became a bit more distant to the Neef family after my parents separated, I know John always made that extra effort to get in contact and support us where he could. And I think that's a real testament to the kind of man that John was. I have a lot of fond memories as well though, being younger and being in John's home. Just kind of playing around the house, that backyard always felt like a jungle. Apparently I got my head stuck in the stairway one time, requiring butter and or oil to get me out. But I suppose more importantly, I really appreciate being able to get to know him as an adult. It just made me appreciate how kind-hearted and caring he is. And particularly over the last year, which obviously has been rough on a lot of us. I know that Uncle John, as well as James, it's really great to have that close connection to you guys. So, it's just something I'll never forget. So I think it's thanks everyone.
Tell the truth.
Okay, my name is Bosch. I met John in 1989, only a few weeks after I arrived in Australia for the first time. He burst into our lunchroom during a lunch break from the building centre, shouting, "Hot verdomme!" which means bugger in Dutch, if I'm not wrong. He was fuming after an argument with Don, his ex-partner at the time, and I thought, what an exciting European person he is. We formed a bond very quickly, and I felt he cared for me like a son. He was protective and supportive. Sorry.
Briefly.
With time, our friendship deepened with trust, mutual respect, and commitment towards each other. I love.
Breathe deep, Marsh. Breathe deep.
Sure. I love John as a father and a friend. His support and encouragement has enriched my life and my experience in this beautiful city. With John's sensitive health, I always knew that I need to be gentle with him and not get him overly excited. Well, that didn't work all the time. I recall a journey that we both made in a ute to collect a new lounge. We were driving through Sydney Harbour Bridge on the way back with the new couch loaded at the back of the ute. Suddenly, at the rear vision mirror, I saw one of the cushions flying off the ute. As an impulsive young man, I stopped the car in the middle of the bridge and ran to retrieve the cushion, leaving John behind, hoping that he would not become overly stressed. No need to worry, he was fine and quite relaxed about being left in a parked ute in the middle of the harbour. Another time was when we drove out to Jericho. Crossing the train boom gate, I realized that the train was on the way and too close for us to cross the railway track. But at that stage, the boom gate lowered behind us, so I could not reverse the car. I chose to stay between the boom gate and the railway tracks. There was just enough space for the car. I was terrified of the effect that might have had on John while the train passed directly in front of us. But again, he was calm and relaxed as always. I would like to say a few words about the relationship that John had with Seamus. They used to call me Oprah because of my mediation skills. What an amazing roller coaster it was for John. Seamus managed to keep John stimulated and entertained throughout. Early in the relationship, Seamus decided to give John a surprise. While John was on holidays in Cairns, Seamus, the interior decorator, decided to redecorate the house. Well, he threw everything into the middle of the room, and I mean everything. Then he came to the realization that it was far too much for him to try and reorganize the space. He called Trevor and me and explained that he needed a hand putting some of the furniture in place. When I arrived and saw a pile of things all the way to the ceiling, I said to Seamus, "You're in trouble, Muriel." John was fuming. He hated changes, and he didn't like anyone touching his belongings. By the time John finally forgiven him, Seamus managed to play the same trick on John's second time. I ran for my life. I didn't want to know about it. Well, John's reaction was loud, and we never had the end of it. John was blessed to have Seamus next to him while his health was deteriorating. Seamus' commitment, devotion, and love were evident throughout. John had strong connection to nature. He enjoyed working in his garden and was proud of it. Often you could see him sitting in a park and feeding birds. He was compassionate towards animals and always had at least one cat at home. The greatest thing I admire about John was that he managed to keep himself a simple and humble man. Even with the modest earning that he had throughout his life, he managed to build stability, donate to and support the community around him. His energy attracted many people, and he received plenty of love and respect. I will remember John for the flowers he always had at home. When John had a joke, and when telling the story, he would have had a cheeky look on his face and a naughty smile. One of his favorite jokes was about him listening to an elderly lady at a hairdressing salon. She hardly had any hair on her head, but kept on asking the dressers to make the hairdo higher and higher. Recently, while on one of my visits to the hospital, on my arrival, I asked John how is he feeling, and he answered, "Never mind the way I feel, it's the way I look, darling." In hospital, John was admired by all staff members. He never complained about the endless needles, constant awful respirators, the non-stop checkups, and the restless night. He tolerated everything with a smile. All through, he was yearning to be at home. That's all that he wished for. John had his wish and passed away peacefully and painlessly at home. He had his cat on his lap, Seamus lying next to him, and me holding his hand. That was a beautiful and touching experience. The date was the 1st of March 2016, being the first day of autumn, which symbolized the end of glorious season, and the first fall of leaf. John's death is during the celebration week of Mardi Gras. I guess he probably wanted us to ensure that we remember him on the dance floor. The 1st of March is also the day that John, John's ex-partner, died 24 years earlier. The day before John passed away, I had a pleasure of participating in my goddaughter's bat mitzvah. This is a Jewish celebration of a young girl coming of age. It is a celebration of hope, youth, and beauty. In many ways, John's death is closing a circle for me. Among all the pain, I witnessed much beauty and love. That was John. I can honestly state that John received much love and respect. Helen Keller wrote, "What we have once enjoyed, we can never lose. All that we love deeply become part of us." Thank you.
You did tell him to tell the truth. You did tell him to tell the truth. Paul's going to sing for us now, Amazing Grace. So if I could just encourage you maybe to think about where John has been someone who's extended grace to you in your life. That might be a way of help in this one. Thank you.
amazing grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I see. Thank God I see. Oh Lord, I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fear relieved. How precious did that grace appear. The hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toil and snares, we have already come. Oh yes, we have come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace and grace and grace and grace that will lead us home. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Woo! I was lost, yes, I was lost, but now I'm found. Well, I was blind, we were all blind, but now, thank God, we all see.
Thank you, Paul. That's a wonderful reminder. We're going to continue in hearing John's story, and that's going to come to us now through Sam and then through Shaz.
I'm bringing bowls of water. And sometimes, there we go. Hi, all. I'm not sure if you all know how John became Opar John. The year was 2003 and the Hawkers had their first son. I was asked to work one day a week and asked John if he wouldn't mind looking after Caden for me. Well, the love affair started. In such a short time between walks, changing nappies and bottle feeds. There was a beautiful connection blossomed between them, and a silent understanding of what is, just is. I know some of his closest friends and family questioned this strange but fruitful relationship, but I know that once they saw the way John took such pride in Caden's upbringing, they understood. John has lived such an amazing life, and I love to hear him talk about Redfern when he first came to town. He had such a big heart that he would never turn anyone away, and if he felt that he could help them in some way.
Every Tuesday we would meet and have fun while the parents were gone. That includes our by Seamus. We would walk and push to visit the park where we would sit by the fountain and play with the cannon. We would visit the shops and visit the man on the corner to buy flowers instead of the florist. On our walk through the shops, there was a window of a cafe with a red chair. We used to talk about visiting that cafe one day and sitting in that very red chair by the window. Oh, but the box of toys behind the couch. Somehow Ratatouille would always play, even when we're not touching it. There were trucks, the books, the balls, and cars. I thought John was the responsible one. It was always good to have someone to tell on over Seamus too. John was and always will be kind, caring, thoughtful, loving, and overall fun.
A butterfly lights beside us like a sunbeam, and for a brief moment its glory and beauty belong to the world. But then it flies on again, and though we wish it could have stayed, we feel so lucky to have seen it.
For my grandfather. My grandfather was a quiet man, but his silence could speak volumes. The warmth of his gaze said, "I love you." The strength of his hugs said, "I will keep you safe." The gentleness of his hands said, "You're precious to me." His nod of approval for a job well done said, "I respect you." In the years to come, I may not remember many of the words my grandfather spoke, but the memories of what he conveyed will always be in my heart.
Someone's getting very nervous.
I've been waiting for this day for many years. Seriously, it's been a long wait. 24 years ago, I was walking home to Moore Park one night down the street where Liz Dangle used to live, in fact. And I was walking down the street, and John and I looked at each other at 2 o'clock in the morning. And he was leaving a friend's house, and I was going back to Moore Park. And what happened, he started flirting with me, and I started flirting with him, but we didn't know more. And at a friend's funeral, right here, I saw him again, and we started chatting. And Trevor was here at the funeral, and then we started chatting outside, and we exchanged telephone numbers here. So it's here 24 years ago that I picked him up, and he picked me up. So I rang him that afternoon. So I picked him up here, and now I'm dropping him off. John was getting over the loss of his partner of 15 years, Donald, who died on the 1st of March, the same day as John passed away, a bit of a coincidence. At that time, I had put my stuff in storage and I was about to embark on my travels to Asia, but instead spent the next 2 precious years with John. John had been told that he only had 2 years to live, and typical of him, at the end of that time, we put the number 2 candle on his birthday cake to celebrate his survival of 2 years. Having a Dutchman and an Irishman living together was a recipe for disaster. Anyone who knew us as a couple knew of all the fights and dramas as we had. John would scream and shout at me, and I would indignantly sulk for days, going off to write a poem or a book or a song in the Irish way. I would say, "Don't shout at me," and he would say, "Matter of fact, I wasn't shouting, I just raised my voice." But we had so many lovely times and shared memories. We were part of a large community of family, and that has been at the centre. If there was a closed circuit TV at 536, and you made a reality TV show, you would outdo the Kardashians. In all the years with John, the thing I really loved about him was how much he cared for animals, nature, children, the underdog, and his large family. And years ago, I came home one day, and John was a bit upset. And I said, "What's wrong?" I asked. He had been at Prince Alfred Park that day and seen a pigeon with a bad leg. He saw a man throw a half-eaten burger in the bin, so he went and dug the bun out for the bird. A passerby saw him and gave him $5 to get a meal. So he didn't know what to do with the $5, and I said, "Buy some bread." So he proceeded to feed the birds at the park and started a relationship with a little bird called Jerry. But the thing was, after so many years doing that, if John walked down the street, a whole flock of birds would follow him like the scene from the birds. And if I wore any of his clothes, they would follow me as well. You know? John had a particular relationship with the kookaburra and his chick at Prince Alfred Park. There are many sides to John, and another one that really stands out is his love of festivals, events, parties. He loved Mardi Gras, New Year's Eve, and fireworks, any big celebration. In fact, he loved to party. A magic time in our lives when John and I took the care of Caden and Xavier, both from the age of 6 weeks. It gave John a new lease of life and someone special to care for. He always said that Caden saved his life because of the exercise he got pushing around in the pram. Sam has told you more about those lovely times. John's strength and determination has been amazing for so long. For the last year, we have been waiting in the transit lounge of life, not too sure where this was all going or when. When we have been told so many times that John didn't have long to live, the nicknames at the hospital were Lazarus and the Cat. During the last month, into the departure lounge, John was so nonchalant about death right up to the end. A few weeks ago, I was working at the Capitol Theatre and I was locking up at night, and I got tearful in the auditorium. When I got home, John said how the night was. I told him that I had a bit of a cry, and he said, "Why?" I said, "Because I'm going to lose you, my best friend." He said, "Oh, don't worry about that." And I said, I was exasperated, and I said, "Haven't you got any concept of death?" He told me, "I don't dwell on those things." And I think that's how he got by with such courage over all those years. On the day John, before he passed away, he said in a very bored way, "Oh, I'm so fed up with this dying business." John and I talked about the funeral many times with the help of our friends who have been able to make it a special day today as he liked it. And I thank you for everyone that helped us put this funeral together. He told me I need to be neat and tidy today. I feel he's still supervising me. John was loved by so many because he had such a big heart himself. He had an unending supply of love for family, friends, and the underdog. Anyone he could get love to. It was John who kept me tabs on all my godchildren's birthdays around the world. John always made visits to our home very welcome. There are so many people I want to thank, this endless, who have helped us through the whole year. But I especially like to talk to Dr. Cassie Workman, his GP 24 years ago. She told him to bring his medicines in, and he put them on the table. She got her hand and swept them in the dustbin and started a new regime, and she's kept him going. Also, Professor Paul Thomas at Prince of Wales Hospital, his respiratory doctor, who always treated John with a sense of respect and humour. And especially big thanks, because we didn't get any care or any help, Kate McClary, respiratory nurse at St Vincent's Hospital, who stepped over the bureaucratic line to support John and I since November, and Caroline Beck, a social worker at War Memorial, who also stepped over the line to help us. Now, I've racked my brains for a meaningful poem or a quote to end this eulogy, and what I came up with, I was trying to find something with meaning, was this birthday card I bought for him a few years ago, and he used to put it beside his bed. And if he got upset, he used to read it, so it's always beside his bed. So here it is. Our friendship goes way back, doesn't it? We cried some and laughed plenty, but over and over, no matter what, we've been there for each other. and somehow I know we always will. So thank you for you're in my life. And thank you for coming today to help remember and celebrate John's life. Please take away his love for life and people, his courage and determination. And John will tell you right now, just party on that. Thank you so much.
We're now going to see some photos. Thank you so much, Sean. So we're now going to see some photos on the big screen.
Sometimes the snow comes down in June. Sometimes the sun goes round the moon. I see the passion in your eyes. Sometimes it's all a big surprise. 'Cause there was a time when all I did was wish you'd tell me this is life. It's not the way I hoped or how I planned, but somehow it's enough. I'm standing face to face. Isn't this world a crazy place? Just when I thought a chance had passed, you go and save the best for last. All of the nights you came some silly girl had set you free. I wondered how you make it through. I wondered what was wrong with you. 'Cause how could you give your life to someone else and share your dreams with me? Sometimes the very thing you're looking for is the one thing you can't see. But now we're standing face to face. Isn't this world a crazy place? Just when I thought a chance had passed, you go and save the best for last. Sometimes the very thing you're looking for is the one thing you can't see. Sometimes the snow comes down in June. Sometimes the sun goes round the moon. Just when I thought a chance had passed, you go and save the best for last. You went and saved the best for
Well, beyond photos, beyond the tributes and the stories, you too will have your own memories of John. And there'll be the part that he's played in your life that's been special for you. We're going to play another piece of music right now, and as that piece of music plays, I'm going to encourage you to think about your part of the journey with John. Where has he been special to you? Where has he stood by by you, aware of you on a journey together. And as the music plays, if you'd like to come out and say farewell, give him a goodbye, give him a blessing or a prayer, whatever it is you'd like to do, during the playing of this song is the time to do so. Please feel free to come. There's nothing out here to be scared of. I'm going to say that one more time. This is a place of peace. So if you'd like to come while the music plays, please feel free to do so.
Avondzon valt over de straten en pleinen, de gouden zon zakt in de stad. En mensen die moe in hun huizen verdwijnen, ze hebben de dag weer gehad. De neonreclame die knipoogt langs ramen, het motregent zachtjes op straat. De stad lijkt gestorven, toch klinkt er muziek uit een deur die nog wijd open staat. Daar in dat kleine café aan de haven, daar zijn de mensen gelijk en tevreden. Daar in dat kleine café aan de haven, daar telt je geld of wie je bent niet meer mee. De toog is van koper, toch ligt er geen loper. De voetbalclub hangt aan de muur. De trekkast die maakt meer lawaai dan de jukebox, een pilsje, dat is er niet duur. Een mens is daar mens, rijk of arm, het is daar warm, geen monsieur of madame, maar wc. Maar het glas is gespoeld in het helderste water, ja, het is daar een heel goed café. Daar in dat kleine café aan de haven, daar zijn de mensen gelijk en tevreden. Daar in dat kleine café aan de haven, daar telt je geld of wie je bent niet meer mee. De wereldproblemen die zijn tussen twee glazen bier opgelost voor altijd. Op de rand van een bierviltje staat daar je rekening, of je staat in het krijt. Het enige wat je aan eten kunt krijgen, dat is daar een hardgekookt ei. De mensen die zijn daar gelukkig gewoon, ja, de mensen die zijn daar nog blij. Daar in dat kleine café aan de haven, daar zijn de mensen gelijk en tevreden. Daar in dat kleine café aan de haven, daar telt je geld of wie
I've heard it said, and the saying that I always turn to at these times is this one: no person is ever commended for what they have received, only for what they've given. So I want to ask you, what has John given to you? What has he given to your life? Because it's by that measure for a short while that I'd like to reflect on his life. As I understand it, John was unassuming, friendly, much loved, much liked. The phrase was used about him that he was a bit of a people magnet who had a real heart for the underdog or the slightly lost. And I think that stretched from people to animals. Or maybe it went from animals to people, I don't know. He was good-hearted, kind-hearted, generous of spirit, especially when it came to people in need. He took in the strays. But Seamus reflected he was a bit frugal when it came to luxuries, but generous of spirit. She shared with me that John was nurturing and encouraging and supportive. And it was said about him when we met that he was a great friend, a great partner, and a beautiful man. He was particularly sensitive, and I don't think you dropped this phrase before, but I quite liked it actually. You called him a sentimental hoarder.
Yeah.
Which I took to mean that he'd keep anything if you gave it to him. If it came from your heart, it lived in his. Of course, he wasn't perfect, and you did share that he could be cranky or grumpy. I find that really hard to believe, but great to go into that. But overall, I get the impression of John that he's been someone in your lives who has made an indelible contribution. He's been caring and giving and loving. You know, I get the sense that John is someone, and they're always a gem when you find them, he's someone who was comfortable with himself, with who he was, with the relationships he had around him. And that has always, and that has meant that he's allowed you to be comfortable with who you are. And anyone, that's always a gift, always. At the Wayside, we have our vision statement is simply this: love over hate. Love over hate. I happen to think love wins out over just about everything. Over prejudice, over indifference, over greed, over intolerance. Love wins. And I think in John you had a winner. So let me ask you again, what did John give to you and what did he give to your life? Because my hope and my prayer for each and every one of you as you leave here from here today is that you'll all find something through John's life that helps you to go back out into that world and to be a more loving and caring and giving person in the world that you go back into. Amen. But now the hardest part of any funeral service is farewell. So I'm going to ask you if you are able to please stand for the committal. John, we thank you for all you have been and for all you have given. And where you've given in care and in love, we are truly thankful. And now we set you free from this life. Go with our love. Go in peace. And we carry your memory with us as we go. Now that John's life with us has come to a close, we commit his mortal remains to be cremated. From the earth we all come, to the earth we all return. Earth to earth, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Joining in the eternal cycle of life and of love. I would tell you where John's ashes are going to be scattered, but that's not been determined yet. I think Seamus is still waiting for word from John about where that will actually be. So when he knows, I'm sure you'll know too. So friends, it's time to go. And as you go today, go in peace. And may the love and the friendship you have known through John, let that be your guide for the journey. Thank you for your attendance today. Thank you. Piece of music, I think, is that correct? Can you do it? You guys,